Yes, and it's a good morning from the studios in Brisbane. Anyway, we'll carry on. Something just flicked up on my screens here. So without further ado, looks like the stream was deleted on Facebook. Obviously, the subject is too hot to handle. Anyway, so without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Elisa.
All right. We're already causing trouble here. So welcome everybody to Dreaming the New Dream, the US version. Today we have Lily Nova. She's an ET contactee, an author, and also an awesome cosmic mentor as well. She has amazing stories to tell. Lily, welcome. I would like for you to give us kind of your bio. I don't like to read bios. I like for people to connect with you directly on, how did you get to where you are today?
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. First off, it's an honor to be here. Where do we begin? Well, so I'm a cosmic channel, a contactee, a UFO and space photographer. And I have a very active YouTube channel where I share different cosmic insights. And my journey really began back in 2020. A lot of people woke up in 2020, like a lot of things. That was kind of a big wave that came in. So I was open to other life, but I had no idea. That it existed. And I came face to face with, I'd say, probably countless craft now. But my first experience started back in 2020. It was November 17th, 2020. And that's in the middle of lockdowns. The world's kind of on pause at that time. And I had turned to space photography. I became very passionate about it. I became obsessed with the night sky. So I was out there basically every single night photographing. And you can see some of my photographs. Well, maybe I'll share some of them of my space photography that I've captured. But a few months being into that, I had my first UFO encounter, and it was a very, very close encounter. I had stepped out on my front porch, and I looked up at the night sky like I always did, and I locked eyes with this hovering craft that was hovering over the neighborhood. And it was a big, bright light just hovering in kind of a circular motion. And then a second craft appeared much closer, and this one really, this one was, if anybody saw this, you would be shaking because it was just so mind-boggling. I started shaking. It was a diamond-shaped craft. And at the time, UFOs weren't in the mainstream. Now they're in the mainstream. But this was right before it started hitting mainstream. So it was this diamond-shaped craft. It had a row of red lights and a row of blue-green lights that went across. And it went up, down, side to side very quickly. And then it flew straight towards me and went above my head and then vanished. And they definitely were communicating with me. They did not appear by accident. They showed up basically to say, we are real. Hey, and look what we can do. They did some maneuvers that none of our craft could do. And so that really turned my world upside down. They gave me about 2 months to integrate that. And then I started seeing UFOs everywhere. I had my camera with me all the time. I have a Nikon DSLR camera, so a pretty nice camera I was shooting space photography with. So I began documenting these UFO experiences because I became very, very curious, and they seemed to be communicating with me like they wanted me to film them. And they would even show up in the background of my videos sometimes, or they would show up just randomly, like they literally were just trying to jump in front of my camera. And so I became fascinated, and a communication with them developed. They took me down a spiritual path, telepathy. I began having telepathic contact with some of the beings who are operating this craft. And that's really how it started. And so much has happened since then, but I'll pause there to see if you want to deep dive into any of that further.
Well, that's funny because you you're already reading my mind telepathically, but the first question that came to me, and it's always a question that I am interested in, is when you first heard, did you hear something, or is it your own voice saying something? Like, what, take us through like that first like contact through your head. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. So the very, very first one, they interacted to my thoughts. So my thoughts were that very first one, that large diamond shaped craft that was just a few houses down, right there. I saw it and I'm thinking, oh my God, what is this? Am I really seeing this? What could this be? And it instantly, as I had that thought, it moved side to side very quickly, like this, jink, jink, and then up, down, and then started coming straight for me. And I knew it's a weird thing. It's like it was responding to me, responding to my thoughts to show me, no, this is otherworldly. This isn't anything that you can imagine. This is different. So that's one example. They were interacting to my thoughts. So that's kind of how the communication began. So they would move around to my thoughts and I would get a feeling. It wasn't necessarily like a voice in my head, but as my contact experiences progressed, then I started hearing more. It's like it started to activate extrasensory perception. So a lot of the time telepathy comes in as more of kind of like a thought, but it's a thought that doesn't feel like your own. It's a very clear, kind of like neutral or even loving thought from something outside of yourself. They call these kind of like downloads too, where suddenly you just have like a whole packet of understanding, is basically how telepathy works. It's not always in words, but sometimes they will use words, these other dimensional beings, just to communicate with you. But it more comes as a whole packet of understanding, a realization, and more of a feeling. As my extrasensory perception was activated through these contact experiences, and then I would later find that a lot of people who have experiences with UFOs, they activate psychic abilities. Similar with like near-death experiences, they come back and then suddenly they can feel energy, or they can see energy, or they can even communicate with other beings. That's what began to happen as my experiences progressed. So I began experiencing telepathy in a visual format as well. So they would send me kind of like a vision that would come, almost like a little movie that would play, and I would get a whole packet of understanding, like they were showing me things. The messages didn't necessarily come in words all the time, but sometimes they do. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, my abilities are claircognizance, so I have knowings, and I've always wondered, that like, is it just like a no? Like, so did you, before they came into the picture, did you have any like a knowing? Like, was claircognizance already a part of your life, like as far as your intuition?
Yeah, I think I had stronger intuition than most, for sure.
Okay.
I wasn't having any crazy experiences, but looking back, I was definitely more intuitive. And sometimes it would come out in my artwork too. Like I grew up drawing. I wasn't an athlete. I was an artist. I would draw a lot. I would write. And looking back at the first thing that comes to mind is I was painting this pyramid with like the galaxy behind it before my big awakening, a couple of years before my big awakening. And for the triangle, I used a piece of paper over it, and then I would paint. And then as I pulled the piece of paper off, just a capstone stayed. The paper ripped to where there was a capstone. And then I realized, I just had this knowing that, no, that's supposed to be there. There's a capstone for a reason. And I didn't know anything about the pyramids. And then later I would find out that they actually, they used to have a capstone.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. So that was a way that the universe was communicating with me, but I knew it in that moment that wasn't accidental, that was meant to be there and it meant something. So I would say, yes, I always had a stronger intuition and more claircognizance. But as my UFO experiences began, then I started receiving more clairvoyance, visions. I began seeing visions. So that's what really activated. That's my strong suit. So I can see. And I can even see being standing there right now sometimes. I'll even see an example, like since I've been living in Sedona, especially, or if I go to Mount Shasta, which I go there each summer. Those are like, big portal sites. There's high strangeness. The veil's very, very thin. There's a lot of activity there. I'll be sitting there. This happens with Sasquatch as well. And I'll see an energetic signature with my eyes open. It's like I'm seeing, it's a frequency match also to where I can see them. I can perceive them. Not everybody can. But yeah, I can see them with my eyes open sometimes too. It's like their frequency is just a little bit different. So they're hidden from most people. But if you fine tune your perception, and if you raise your frequency, you become more of a match to be able to perceive that. And besides that, I get visions, like I was saying. So I wasn't receiving visions before. Now, if I close my eyes and I tune in, I can see a vision. And that's a big way that the universe communicates with me. Or I'll see a vision sometimes I'll see on a craft. Like I'm projecting my consciousness there. I didn't have that before. But I also never practiced with it before. It was really activated through my experiences.
Okay. So then once that happened, what came next?
I spent a lot of time documenting them with the camera at first. The first year was very much about going out and learning how to initiate contact with them. They were teaching me how to initiate contact with them. So I basically had a meeting with them each day. It was kind of like this. I would later find that this was like a pre-incarnation contract, a soul contract, to where I could go out and set my intention to make contact and they would appear. And I would use my camera to see them sometimes because our eyes have very limited visible spectrum. Like we can only see that much out of the light spectrum. And the camera can pick up more. That's why you see even on ghost hunts or ghost shows, they'll capture these orbs or apparitions, things like that. So the camera can pick that up. So I would go out and I would document these orbs or these ships that would appear or these kind of like plasma type craft that would appear. And that was so exciting to me. At the time, I needed that physical evidence.
Yeah.
I needed that. And then it progressed into more of a psychic communion with them to where I still see craft, but it's not all about the evidence because I know that they're there. I can sense them more easily now, and I don't really need the evidence as much. Although I love it whenever they show up. That's always exciting because like, it's real. They're here.
Yeah.
But that's really what it was. It was learning how to make contact with them. They would teach me things. They taught me about the law of attraction, which I was shocked that extraterrestrials were teaching me the law of attraction. They were teaching me about vibration, how the universe works. They started teaching me. So during these meetings, while I'd film them and go out with the intention to make contact, I would start getting these downloads. And they would appear to say, yes, that's it. Or I would get this telepathy that went along with it. They really taught me how to raise my frequency, how to interact with spiritual guides, with these galactic beings. I started seeing angels too, fairies. Sasquatch would come a little bit later, but I've had interactions with Sasquatch too. And anybody can do this. It's not reserved for just one person. So that's really a big part of the training that they put me through, how you can fine tune yourself to be able to have these very profound transcendental experiences. They taught me about healing myself, how I can heal myself, how to heal others. I've never taken any formal training on any of this. I've just followed my intuition and guidance from, my guides are from these beings and then my, higher self as well, just how to do these things. Like, for example, I started getting into singing bowls. They said, okay, start doing singing bowls on YouTube every Sunday. And that's how I started off like 5 years ago. And I would host these meditations and to help people get into a transcendental state, we'll say. to where they can fine-tune their perception and have experiences through which can bring healing or activation of other gifts, removing blockages, even seeing past lifetimes, meeting their star family. So they trained me how to do all of those things. And the example that came to mind was I did a session on somebody and I was doing the singing bowls, and then I heard a voice say, use your hands. So it was an in-person session. So then I was like, oh, I'd never done that before. So I was like, okay. So then I just went with the flow and started using my hands over their energy body. And I just went with whatever I was being guided to do. And it was actually my mother I did this session on. And afterwards, she's not really into this thing, but she's open. She'd never gotten anything like that before. She was crying by the end, and she sat up and she's like, I couldn't even tell anybody what just happened to me because they wouldn't believe me. And what she explained, what she felt and saw during that session, it almost sounded like she was on a psychedelic trip. And she had a lot of major breakthroughs. She saw like her life. She saw her and my dad and helped heal their relationship and helped heal all of these things just from a sound bowl session and using my hands. So I just kind of go with the flow and amazing things happen.
Wow, that's amazing. And to give you a side story, I had the same thing happen to me when I was doing a quantum hypnosis session.
Yeah.
They said, put your hands on top of her. And I was like, okay. So I put my hands over her. Yeah. And then what they told me is that they're not able to bring in the energy, and they're using our vessel to put their energy through our vessel to heal the person. So it's so powerful to do that. And it's so amazing. And the way that it has changed your life. I mean, completely, I can't imagine like 6 years ago, you were thinking that this is what you would be doing, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, no, the universe likes to surprise you. I had just finished school and got my dietetics degree. So I was gung-ho set on nutrition and health. But then things just started to not feel aligned. And I'm like, I just got this degree. I was so passionate about it, but suddenly I felt lost. I felt like I didn't know who I was anymore. And then the UFOs started showing up, and it's because that was a stepping stone. In the health and nutrition, everything that I learned, I also feel like that helped me to be more of a clear vessel so that I could have these experiences. Because if you're eating fast food every day and you're not, paying attention to your health and you're eating all of these chemicals, then that can really bog you down and block you. So that definitely helped me to be able to have these experiences. But that was just a stepping stone. I would have never expected where I am today. No, not at all.
Right. That's the beauty of it. I mean, because it really says that you're following your mission, and you're following, we're helping them help humanity, right? In our own way with, so thank you so much for doing that, because you could have said, no, this scares me. I'm not doing this, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm always grateful for the people that step up to do these things, because we can't say no, and we usually say yes. And thank you for saying yes and helping humanity with this.
Thank you.
It's a big deal.
I felt a big soul calling, even though most people would have thought I was crazy. A lot of people did think I was crazy, but my soul was calling so hard I can't even explain it. I just had to pursue it and see what came of it. It was also an amazing mystery. Like, oh my gosh, there's more here. We're not the only ones, and we have this potential. We can activate superhuman gifts and abilities. How exciting is that?
Right.
But it was scary and confusing at first. Well, I wouldn't say scary. I was always curious. I just felt so curious. My soul was guiding me. And if you'd like, I can share a little bit more about kind of the Starseed mission or who these beings were, that might help bring a little bit of
Yes.
context.
So that was my next question. So tell everybody about what happened as you went through and found out who they were and all of this, the rest of this story.
Yeah, certainly. So in April 2021 is when I got to see these beings for the first time. So their craft were popping up everywhere. They were guiding me. And I went out with somebody, a friend who I just met, but they had UFO experiences before, so we met up. I didn't know anybody. I wasn't in the UFO community. I wasn't in the Starseed community. I didn't even know what a Starseed was yet. So I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody else has seen them. I need to talk to somebody who can relate. And we went out and set the intention to make contact. Within 5 minutes, a golden light appeared, and I have photographs of it I can share with you also. And this craft was moving around, communicating to us. And I closed my eyes to communicate with it. And I received telepathy in a visual format, like clairvoyance. And the beings, so I got to see the beings for the first time. And these beings had light blue skin and no hair, but they were humanoid. They looked very human. So picture me with no hair and light blue skin and a silver skin tight uniform on, similar to like a Star Trek is what it looked like. And after that experience, that's when telepathy really picked up. And that the female that I saw, so there was one female who was like kind of the main being, front and center, and then she had crew members standing behind her. This female, I felt a very strong connection with, but I didn't quite understand it at first. Later, I would find out that these beings were my star family, and that I was what's known as a star seed, and that there are a lot of star seeds incarnated. So these beings are actually us. They are family of ours. And a lot of the time, the beings contacting us are actually us from the future or from other realities.
Mm-hmm.
I would find this out later, but that being, her name is Talia, she told me that she was me from the future. So these UFOs that I was seeing was a version of me from the future coming back to wake me up. And it's all about this massive consciousness shift that's happening on a planet. You know, we're awakening to who we truly are and helping to clear out some very dark forces that have been running on the planet, and tap into our potential and really remember, you know, and bring about a more positive reality, a total shift into the 5D, as you call it, or a lot of people know it as.
Yeah. So did you ever ask her how are they able to come back in time like that? Did you ever ask her?
That's a great question. So recently I was shown, well, I've seen this before, but again, it came up recently. I believe a lot of these beings are put into like kind of sleeping pods or stasis pods, and their consciousness is put into a human avatar, which would be us, and we're born. I think a lot of the beings are maybe in stasis until the job is done, and then they go back to that life. That might differ depending on your situation. But then that was a little bit confusing because she's here still interacting with me. But these UFOs are time travel machines. They're all time travel machines. So I think at some point, you know, she was in a stasis pod, but then her future self, after she gets out, comes back to help. It gets a bit confusing, but there's a lot of time travel involved, and the crafts themselves are all time travel machines. I had a training module, as they called it, probably about 2 years ago, where it was like a dream, but it was a very, very real dream. And it wasn't just a dream. It was this whole training that I received. And I saw a craft in the sky in this dream. And at first it was like a translucent light greenish color, but it was see-through. And it kind of looked like an amoeba. And it was time traveling down. In order to land on Earth, it literally had to time travel down to get here. And as it got here, then it became materialized. And the beings, a bunch of beings came off the craft, and some of them I had been in telepathic communication with for years. I recognized some of them, and I got to like hug them. I got to see them face to face. It was very, very realistic. One of them was a Pleiadian commander. I call him Commander Z. The other one was a being named K. And a lot of them were Nordic looking beings, and they were just a bit taller than us. They were taller than us, and their bones were a bit bigger. They had to like hunch over to give me a hug. But that was one of the main takeaways from that, was that they're all time travel machines. So I think a lot of these beings are coming from a different time period to get to us.
And what's interesting is that, once again, I was going to ask you about the pods, because I've heard that my body is in a pod as well, Pleiadian. So it's interesting you bring that up, because I was going to ask you about that.
Well, and it's like the movie Avatar.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we're living in Avatar, basically.
We are the blue beings. It's backwards. Like the blue beings are getting in the pods, and and here it's the opposite. Like the blue beings are in the pod and come to be human. So it's the opposite. It's quite funny. That's
exactly,
amazing.
Exactly. And so these beings, they can only do so much from the outside. So that's why there were certain volunteers and beings who volunteered to come in and incarnate through that transfer of consciousness to be able to make a difference from within, because we have to do it from within, and we create this ripple. Like each one of us, we carry this unique light. We carry a unique energetic signature, unique soul wisdom that we're helping to seed the collective with and shift the frequency of the planet. Yeah,
exactly. Awesome. So when did you, I know that you also do remote viewing. So when did was that something you were doing before, or did that also come with this whole package of new psychic abilities?
So I began training. I called it Starseed Boot Camp. So I took about a year off when all of these contact experiences began happening to really deep dive into this. And I was instructed to begin meditating. And, it's like a muscle, even with meditation. Like sometimes you have to practice at it a little bit. It's not always going to be super easy at first. So I started practicing with stilling my mind and being able to access kind of the multidimensional field, the quantum field around us. And that's really when my clairvoyance started to kick on. And while I would have these meditation sessions, there was a period of time where I would literally just meditate all day for months. I would do it all day. That's all I would do. I would barely get up to eat for a period of time. And I would see all of this light, and I was seeing all of these visions. It was like I was being activated, and I would see my DNA activating. And while I was doing that during that period, my star family, Talia, and I would see other beings like Pleiadians, feline beings, Arcturians. They started presenting themselves to me. They started showing me and teaching me about remote viewing. So I wasn't doing it before. They taught me about it.
Okay.
Yeah, they taught me. And they said, so all the past, present, and future, all of it's happening at once. Because of that, we can view any time period that we want. With intention and fine-tuning our perception, we're kind of like maybe projecting our consciousness into that. But really, you just kind of have to have an intention and then just practice with it. And so they started showing me examples. Like I would meditate, and they'd say, okay, now we're going to take you back in time. And I saw dinosaurs. I saw flying saucers. I saw a war happening on the planet back when the dinosaurs were here. I actually don't have much context on what all was going on. I'm hearing Orion right now. Orion was involved. There was some maybe a fight for the planet. This is whenever dinosaurs were here in these spaceships, and there were like laser weapons and things like that. So that was one example. They showed me Native Americans. They showed me ancient Native Americans meeting with star beings. The star beings would land. They would communicate with them. I believe they helped guide them to creating some of these really big cities. The Kokia Mounds is an example of what they showed me, which is in Illinois, on the border of St. Louis, Missouri, and Illinois.
Yeah, we talked about it on our last show with Tyler.
Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy. Me and Tyler, I mean, we were both living in St. Louis, and then we met through a mutual online friend, and I was like, "What? You're in St. Louis?" And so that was also kind of, we're strategically placed in certain parts for a reason, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Kokia Mounds is a very special site, and I saw like a what looked like a starport underground there. I don't know if it's still active, but the ETs were using that back in the day, and they would land and they would teach the Native Americans certain things. And this is like the modern day Kachina, not modern day, but the Kachina, I think. The Kachinas are they're thought to be star beings in the Hopi tribe and in a few, the Zuni tribe, a couple other tribes. Yeah, Kokia Mounds is, and there's been.
So Kachina, would that be, oh my God, what's the name of that god? Of the Aztec god? Not the Aztec god. It's really almost everywhere.
Teotihuacan?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. You know,
is that, you think?
I think he would be an example.
Okay.
I think he would be an example. You know, I have a feeling that might be the same being, a crowd that's visited multiple sites all over the place, and I think there's a connection with Thoth that could literally be the same ET who was going around helping restart civilization after the fall of Atlantis. That's kind of my perspective on it and the feeling that I get about it.
Oh,
so an advanced being coming to help, and in a lot of these Native American pictographs or petroglyphs, things like that, you'll see certain beings that just look different. They might have elongated skulls or even antennas. I think there's tons of examples of extraterrestrial contact. Back then, it was safer to make contact with the people because we didn't have nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So I think they were making contact with a lot of ancient civilizations for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, is there anything else to add about your story? Because we can go and start seeing your videos on the beings, or not the beings, but the UFOs that you were seeing.
Yeah, I can show you guys some videos and pictures. I think that's exciting for people because it shows sometimes this feels so far away, but really it's happening all around us. I think there's also kind of outposts all over the planet. I think there are ships in the sky that are just cloaked very frequently or all over the place.
Yes. So let me ask you about something, Lily.
Mm-hmm.
I went camping when I first got my RV. It was COVID, and I got an RV, and I said, I'm not staying home. Screw that. So anyway, my first camping trip, the first one, I'm out there by myself, and I'm outside in the stars, and I'm like, all right, family, if you're real, if you're true, show yourselves. Mm-hmm. And maybe 5 minutes later, a shooting star goes by, and I was like, well, that could just be a shooting star. Let me, okay, if that was you, do it again. And then it happens again.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, do you think, now my opinion is that shooting stars are not shooting stars. Mm-hmm. They're actually craft. What do you think?
Yeah, that's happened to me quite a bit too. And that is one of the ways that they would communicate. I've had the same situation as you. They can reveal themselves to where it looks like they're a shooting star, 100%. Okay. And that's a good way to experiment with this. Just go out and look up and ask for them to show themselves, ask them if they're here, ask them if they can show you a sign, and they might show you something like a shooting star. They might show you something like a flash. I've had them manipulate stars to where it looks like they're turning off and on, almost like a Morse code And I believe they're kind of sending a transmission to you through that as well, like a frequency transmission. They can do all sorts of things, sparkles, flashes, shooting stars. Definitely they can show up in that way.
Okay, well, good. Because that's what I was thinking, but just asking for confirmation because I just felt like that's what it was.
Yeah. Well, especially nothing is a coincidence. Whenever you ask and there's an immediate response, that is the universe directly communicating with you. And the more you lean into that, the more it happens. To where it can even be like, what even is this reality? It's so malleable. It's so malleable. It's amazing the things that can happen that just really defy logic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think your vibration at the time too matters, because I have gone out there again to do the same and they have not come. They have not shown up, So I think another thing to add to this is also your vibration. What is it? What's your, Are you scared, or are you not feeling good, or whatever? I think that also matters.
100%. And I that really goes into the training that they gave me, was very much about how to manifest, essentially how to manifest contact or align yourself, raise your frequency for that. Frequency is a big part of it. The heart frequency, love, joy. And some people, they will think that they are blocked or they're cut off. You thinking that you're cut off, because we're master creators, right? Well, we're creators learning how to be master creators. You thinking that you're cut off, you thinking that you're separate, you thinking that you're blocked is going to keep perpetuating that into your reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Another big thing that they taught me is that we are all one, which that sounds very simple. It was profound whenever I first heard it. I was like, wait, I'm the same. Me and my mom are the same. Me and my friend we're the same. Me and you are the same. Yes, we're all one. We're all connected, even the weather. I've had an experience where I was able to control a storm. And I have a friend who had a similar experience. So whenever you kind of get into a more expanded state, you can connect like that. But yeah, one other example I'd like to give real quick. Whenever you try too hard, you can block yourself.
Yes.
And that because you are kind of in the vibration of lack. You're in the vibration of lack. You think you don't have it. You're trying so hard and you're really just like pushing it away. So there's a term, set it and forget it. Set the intention to make contact, ask to make contact, or whatever it is. You can apply this with anything that you want in your life. Yep. Even if you want to manifest more abundance, set that intention and then kind of leave it, go where the universe guides you. But if you try really hard, you're sitting out there and you're waiting for them to show up and you're like, you get upset. Your frequency starts to lower because you're like, well, where are they? They aren't showing up. Maybe they aren't real, or maybe I'm not special. Whatever may happen in your mind, that can really block it. But if you set that intention and then you even switch your focus to just enjoying the night sky, or doing a little meditation, or listening to some frequency music, relaxing, or even doing something fun, then as your frequency rises, they'll appear.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. That is so very true. Absolutely.
Awesome. Did you want me to go ahead and share my
Yes,
screen?
Absolutely.
All right. Can you see this folder?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just start off by showing Talia real quick. So this is an artistic depiction of what she looks like. So that's one of my main contacts, and she's from the Andromeda constellation. So technically she's me from the future. So that's one of the beings that I communicate with a lot and who first started appearing. I have a strong connection with the Pleiadians, and I just accidentally exited.
What is you said she was Andromedan, right? In one of your other shows, I think you said she's Andromedan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And this is the golden orb that she appeared in. This is an actual photograph. that I took. This is the first time that I saw her. So this golden orb or this golden ship appeared, but it was like a plasma craft. You can kind of see it looks more, it's like a plasma energy, and it was kind of moving. Their technology is different. It looks different than ours. It's not a regular light. It's kind of like energy moving within itself. It's like conscious light. And they projected into my mind. I was able to see onto the ship, and then that's depiction of Talia. Pleiadians, I'm sure you guys are familiar with them. They're pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
And
but there's different kinds, right? Because as far as I know that some of the American Indians are Pleiadian, but they're short and dark skin, like yeah. So there's different kinds of Pleiadians.
Yeah, actually, since I moved to Sedona last year, I actually had a whole past life recall. I've had past lifetimes here. And that's why I was drawn to this area. And in this past lifetime, I saw a child. I think she did have blue eyes, though. And either I was the child or that was my child. But she was a Pleiadian hybrid. And I don't know what time period that was, like a long time ago, but I was like, wow. Yes. So, there's a lot of Pleiadian lore or Native American lore about them having connections with the Pleiadians specifically. Yes. So yeah, there's different time. They're not all Nordic looking.
Yeah.
So this is a photograph of me where I would set up my camera, and I would go in front of the camera and I would ask them to appear. And I had my camera set on a time lapse where it was taking photos every other second. And so I sat and I started setting my intention to call them in. I asked them to appear, and this craft appeared and hovered in the sky for a little bit. I caught it in 3 photographs. I'll show you another one that's cleaned up a little bit. Here it is, cleaned up a little. And it's strange. You can see it's moving pretty fast. It kind of has like tracers, and there seems to be like an orange window, but it's strange. That's not a normal craft. So here's one of the pictures I was able to capture. I'll show you guys kind of a side by side of how it first appeared. So the first photograph I caught it looked like this. Just kind of a little blob. Like it was first starting to come into the frequency. What's that?
Into our reality, right? Like it's appearing into our reality.
Exactly. It was just starting to manifest into our frequency bandwidth, I'm hearing.
Okay.
And so it kind of just looks like a little smudge, a little blob. And the next photo, it is more physical. Looks like that. And then in the next photo, it moved. Originally it was there. Now it's there. So it's moved over slightly. And its shape has even changed a little bit more. So this is a strange looking craft. It almost kind of looks like a shark. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of, it's an interesting shape. Maybe like not a regular triangle, but it almost kind of looks like a little like a scout ship.
Right. Yeah.
A small scout ship. It's not the typical flying saucer. So there's all different types of craft. So when I had a MUFON investigator, you can see there it is there, and then it moves up there. And then it was only in those 3 photos, and then it disappeared. But a MUFON investigator investigated it, and he said it was an anomaly. He said also he noticed that there was a 7-year time difference within these photos. Suddenly, my settings on my camera changed 7 years.
What?
Yeah. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, that's really interesting.
I know. I think I really need to spend some time focusing on maybe even do some regression work on what all actually happened during some of these encounters that I had.
Wow.
This is another one taken at the same park. And I did the same thing. I set up my camera to take photos every other second. And then I started walking in front of the camera. I asked them to appear so you can see me. I'm walking over, and then I'm looking over here. And in just one of the photos, these two, they look like black triangles.
Wow.
Appeared. And it appears to be like a tear in space-time or a portal or something strange happening right there. And yeah, this was only in one of the photos. So it was literally only there for a couple of seconds, and then they vanished. Because in any other thing you would have seen it moving across the screen through the different photos. It just blipped in and out. So they would just kind of dip in and out quickly to pose for the camera, and then,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, so that's another strange one that I've captured. I have
What about the video that you were showing? I think it was on your last video on your
I
channel.
showed these two. Here, I can share a different way so that you can hear I'll share it a different way so that you can hear the audio. Yeah, I just recently showed all of this on one of my streams. I'll show this one first. It's very short. I used to live stream and teach people how to make contacts, and I would live stream this guy with a camera. This is it appears as a translucent kind of amoeba looking thing, similar to what I saw in the dream, where at first it was a translucent amoeba, and then once it landed on Earth, it became physical. So so I'll show this one. It's quick. My intentions out here, and you all can do the same to connect with any cosmic beings. And ask for a sign. You see it coming up on the left. And also set the intention out that you are open to. Oh, what is that? You guys, did you just see that? And it zooms in so you can ask see it for better. A sign. And also set the intention out that you are open to. Oh, what is that? And also set the intention out that you are open to. Oh, what is that?
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. They appear in many different ways. And then I'll share the other one that I got at Bradshaw Ranch. Working with me whenever they Bradshaw Ranch here in Sedona. It's kind of like what's the other famous ranch?
Aseti?
No, not East, but kind of though. There's a lot of activity. Skinwalker.
Yes.
Skinwalker. That's in Utah. This is known as like a massive portal. There's a lot of energy going on here. So back in September, this past September, I got the feeling to go to Bradshaw Ranch that night. And so we went, and I brought my night vision camera, and I heard telepathically, "Get your camera ready." And so I'm like, okay, they kept saying it, "Get your camera ready, get your camera ready." So then I set up my camera, and then we had a parade of different, they're kind of a little bit farther away, but we get about like 7 or 8, maybe 10 craft that appear that are going in different directions. They do different formations for us. So I'll go ahead and play part of this. Said, "Get your camera ready." I was like, okay. Yeah, this was right after 3-Eye Atlas. There's 3 of them in formation. Holy. No, I just watched them all appear out of thin air.
Get them all on camera?
They're on camera right now.
Wow.
Yes. And we got another one coming up from the mountain. They said, "Get your camera ready." They were not lying. They were not lying. Wow.
get them as they. Oh, there's one behind it now. Look. Oh, there's one coming.
Whoa! What's happening?
There's two down low.
So if they were satellites, they'd be going the same speed, and that
So weird how it just keeps happening.
in a
Same
line.
separation.
Coming.
Yeah, the same distance.
It's a freaking spaceport.
Yeah, they were crossing each other.
Spaceport, portal, whatever you want to call it.
A triangle formation, and I. They're not crossing each other. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just keep showing up. Look.
Lily, is this the one that you use for the History Channel?
No, I had taken this right after History Channel.
Oh, okay.
I know, so they didn't have this one. I'll show one more where they kind of go in a cool formation. We got another triangle formation.
Oh, there's 4. Wow, look at that.
Whoa!
5.
Those ones are pretty bright.
Look at all those lights.
That is amazing.
Whoa!
Look without the night vision.
Whoa!
That is amazing.
Camera was on for that too.
They're just.
Oh
they're
my
not sure.
gosh! It looks
They
cool on the
really
camera,
are.
but it was even cooler in person. Whoa!
That is so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm impressed.
And near the end, I show. So this is somebody's long exposure photographs, so you can see kind of how they were moving. There we go.
That's so exciting. Oh my gosh. So if you guys want to see more, I know that that Lily has her History Channel video on your YouTube, right? Or your website. Your website.
Yes, it's on my website. Yeah, the bit that I did on Ancient Aliens, part of it is on my website. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was so happy that they reached out to me because they wanted to show current contact stories. Usually they focus on the past and our ancient history, right? But this season they wanted to do a bit where they shared people who are in contact now, which I think is really important that they're acknowledging that it's happening today. I'm like, yeah, catch up, guys.
Right?
Catch up.
So that's a question I had for you. I forgot about. So the contact protocol they give you, is it similar to the CE5?
Yeah, there are a lot of similarities.
Okay.
Definitely. I didn't know that CE5 was a thing until after I was already experiencing this and experimenting with it. And then I heard of CE5 and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like basically exactly what I'm doing. Essentially, it's like setting intention. I don't know what the official protocol for CE5 is. I've seen some really good CE5 guidebooks that are very similar to what they've been teaching me. And I've got a little guide, how to make contact guide at the end of my book. So it shares a lot of techniques and things that you can do. But really the main thing is having intention. Setting your intention is important. Asking as simple as that sounds, can be really important. Raising your frequency, getting into the heart space, and just into a lighter, because they're higher frequency beings. So we have to meet them. We have to meet them. We have to raise our frequency. Don't try and make contact when you're angry.
Right.
Basically. So just getting in a good vibe state, and you can use crystals and things like that to help amplify your intention, projecting love, different techniques like that.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. In CE5 though, they use this sound. It's like a really weird, like this sound that you're supposed to play on a speaker.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to imagine like where you are to show them, like first you show them like the earth, and then you show them United States continent, and then you show them Florida, and then you show them where in Florida, you just like mentally show them this. But I don't know, I've always felt like playing that sound is kind of like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I hear that.
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily have to do that. I would play frequency music sometimes to help me get into a heightened state, but like frequency music, higher frequency music. I don't really do like the sound or anything. I think I've tried it like once or twice. One time it didn't work. The other time it did work, but I think it wasn't because of that sound. It was because of already my connection and in what I was already doing. But I don't know how I feel about just inviting random extraterrestrials in. I like to set the intention for your star family. Like, we're not showing the mothership of, whoever, some random species, exactly where we are. I think what is safer and probably more effective is just to set the intention to make contact with your star family of the highest love and light. You already have a connection with them. So you don't have to go out searching the universe to invite random extraterrestrials back to your house.
Absolutely. And also using your intuition as well. Like sometimes, they're going to want to be contacted in different ways. If it's a different family of somewhere else, who knows? But now that you brought your book up, tell everybody about your book, what's in it and where they can get it.
Yeah, sure thing. So my book is my contact experience so it's called Contact, an incredible true story of contact with beings from another world and spiritual awakening. So it takes you through my beginning experiences, really detailed of the things that I experienced, how the communication with them developed, how they appeared. I've got pictures in it too, depicting my experiences so you can get a visual for it. All about the Starseed mission. It has a lot of photographs, how to make contact, how to connect. I've got a little bit of I've got a lot of information on like the third eye training and the Starseed boot camp, the set of the guide that they gave me for how to become a better version of myself, how to remember more of who I am, my cosmic origins, how to activate my DNA. So I catalog all of that. So it's a book. It's a great story, but it's also a guide for you to learn to cultivate this for yourself. And then at the end, there is a how to make contact guide and also a common ET races and star family types. So it goes into that too. So it can kind of help you identify with that. And then I've got QR codes in the book as well that lead to different meditations, different techniques and things like that. So it's a very interactive book, and that's available on Amazon. It's also available in an ebook and an audio book. And if you get the audio book, you can email me if you want to get all the QR codes. I can send you a PDF file of it.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Something else that you have been doing that I wanted to cover is the fact that right now you have been doing these Q&As and doing the Sunday things, and you really are informing people of what's happening behind the scenes, which is number one, it gives people hope. Number two, it lets people know what's happening. So it's more, I feel like you appease people with it, like you're, because sometimes I feel like some of the light workers get involved in the 3D, and I feel like with your information, you're able to kind of bring them back into like the higher vibration. So just real quickly, because of what's happening right now in the world, can you just tell everybody what you have been told from your guides or the Galactic Federation, whoever it is, what's happening, and what you've been telling your followers, of what's happening right now?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much happening right now.
Right?
There's so much happening right now. So we are in the middle of breaking old control systems and tearing down the whole old system right now. Is a lot of the old 3D matrix is collapsing, and that's happening in various ways. There's a massive internal shift happening. There's a massive reveal happening, how a lot of things are fake, are staged. The psychological operations, that's being exposed right now. What's happening with our food, all of that, all of these different things are being exposed right now. And that's good. I mean, it looks super scary. It can look scary. But these things have been happening for a long time. It's just now being exposed. So that's good. That's a win. It's just a little bit, it can get a little bit chaotic and messy as we are working through uncovering the shadows and some of the more nefarious things that have been taking part in the shadows, like things with the Epstein list. Those things have been happening for a long time. Really, probably for thousands of years.
Yeah.
So it's just being exposed right now, and then we can stop it. So we have a big shift in power taking place right now from corrupt leaders who are probably being ran by parasitic energies, really. And we're regaining our sovereignty, and humanity is becoming aware. They're starting to wake up. It's similar to like the Matrix movies, honestly. And we're starting to tap into our power and starting to speak up. And this is also an internal process. So internally, we're uncovering shadows within ourselves. So within, so without, as above, so below. I think I said that right. Not sure if I said that completely right. But it's a reflection of what's going on internally. Also. So we've got a lot of deep wounds that are coming up individually. And even though it can look very chaotic, there's also real estate. What's going on with Iran, I've seen, has a lot to do with actually a Stargate, a very powerful Stargate that is there. Apparently there are 12 across the planet. And kind of whoever has control over those Stargates kind of controls the planet. What I was picking up, I plan to do a deeper dive on that this Sunday. But what I was getting so far, and I shared in my latest update on Sunday, was that this Stargate can be an ascension portal for us, but it's been under dark Anunnaki control. Those are just that's the old control systems we're regaining our sovereignty from. So there's been a lot of just dark inverted programming coming from it. And as it shifts into more guardian type beings, in the hands of guardian beings, then it can be used actually to bring in higher frequencies and help with the ascension of the planet. That's what I was hearing. Like, it's directly correlated to our ascension. If you think of like I'm being reminded of like the chakra system. So that's part of how we ascend, is through our kundalini, our inner energy, our chakra system. It's hard to be in a high vibe state whenever your chakras are closed and you're not in your power. Similar on the planet. So if you think of the planet also having like this chakra system, these points, if they've been corrupted or inverted or they're being blocked, then that's going to keep the planet in a more dense space. So that's what I'm getting so far on that. A lot of that's being cleaned up. I know there's a lot of nasty things happening on the planet still right now too, but ultimately I think we're heading in a positive direction. We're seeing a kind of a shift, a massive shift happening on the planet, where we're just watching the old world. A lot of wars that were started or silently going on for a very long time are starting to end now. They're just ending very loudly, is what I'm seeing right now. That's what I'm seeing. I want to tune into more about kind of what's going on with that. But ultimately, we're also receiving a lot of really big upgrades. We've got the solar energy coming in. And awareness is a big part of this, even though it hurts. And it can be traumatic, learning about and experiencing and seeing a lot of these things play out. But we have awareness now, and people are standing up and deciding, no, we don't want that anymore. We don't consent. We want something better. So we're like in the middle of that right now.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Well, I'm glad to hear that we are getting out of it. And we did get some information on that from the tarot show we did yesterday around that, which confirms pretty much what you're saying as well.
Really?
And,
I'm curious. Who was the tarot show with? Was it with Tyler?
No, this show is the show I do every Monday. Okay. Where we talk. It's on my YouTube channel, Quantum Healing of the Soul, and that's the show where I've had Tyler come in and we discuss his book, which is incredible.
Yeah, that sounds fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes. Oh my God, the last one we did was mind blowing. It was mind blowing.
I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, definitely check that. The last one was crazy. The other ones were too, but just amazing. Okay, so tell everybody how they can find you, about your events and everything you've got going on.
Sure thing. So what do I have coming up? Well, you can find more information about me on my website, lilynovacontact.com. I also have events coming up on there. Yep. So I'm speaking at New Living Expo, and it's in or near San Francisco this April. That's a really big expo. I'm super excited to meet a lot of really fantastic speakers who are going to be there. And then I have Journey to Truth. They are hosting a conference/retreat in Hawaii, which I'm very excited about. And that's like the heart chakra of the planet. It has a very strong Lemurian connection. So I'm just so excited to really connect with the land there. And then I won't be speaking at Rise of the Guardians, but I might be attending. And then Mount Shasta conference I have coming up in July. So Mount Shasta is an amazing place. I've received a lot of upgrades that actually boosted my level of contact a lot going there. I started having a whole new level of experiences because you can receive a lot of activations from these potent energy sites if you feel called to them. So those are some of the things I have coming up. I do have a Sedona retreat coming up in May and a Mount Shasta retreat. That's on the retreats page. Right now they're full, but I may, if there ends up being some openings, then I'll, I'll probably send an update out on my YouTube channel. But we're doing a wolf sanctuary experience I'm super excited about. And besides that, I've got different workshops and healing sessions. I've got a psychic development workshop available on my website. I've got a deep chakra healing session. I've got a cord cutting, ancestral healing and karma clearing session. I've got a DNA activation workshop with an hour-long meditation. At the end, I'll be activate your DNA. So I've got tons of fun resources.
Fantastic. Is there anything else that you want to mention that we have left out, or are we good for today?
I think we covered a pretty good amount. I am just being called right now to focusing on, the heart. I'm hearing bridge. Remember that everybody who's watching, you guys are a bridge for the higher realms. You're bringing heaven to earth. Like, stand in your energy and cultivate that heart space. That's the big feeling. And it's so important right now. And you are so incredibly powerful. So the more you do that, sometimes it's healthy to detox from the internet because there's a lot of chaos going on up there. I like to dip in, then dip back out because I have to kind of stay updated to see how, how people are reacting, what's going on. Because so much is happening, like bam, 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 bam. But it's healthy to take a step back from that. Don't get too caught up in that. Don't, your inner peace is what's most most important. But yeah, I'm just being called to remind you guys that you guys are a bridge for these higher frequencies coming into the earth, and you are incredibly powerful.
Beautiful. Thank you for that message. Just so grateful. So Lily, thank you so much for being here. Really, I'm just so grateful. And I hope that, that people take the message seriously, because it's serious. This is the time we came for.
Yeah.
Right? To anchor the light when the chaos is going on the outside.
Yeah.
So please check out Lily's website and support her in any way that you can. Lily, I will see you in Tyler's conference. So
you're going to be in Hawaii?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Cool.
Yep. So I'll definitely get
I'm excited to meet you.
Yes, absolutely. So everybody, thank you for being here. Please share the video if you can. We really need to get to as many light workers as possible and unite.
Yes.
So again, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for your time, Lily. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Appreciate it. All right.
Oh, sorry.
That's